was calling me Joe. I said, I know we hang out a lot together, but I wear the cowboy hat. He wears the veteran's cap. Anyway, good morning. My name is Gil Vigil, and I'm from Pueblo, about an hour and 8 minutes north of here. I typed myself. I didn't speak it. I'm also the president of the National Child Welfare Association, and I'm also the executive director of the Northern Indian Peoples Council. And I want to also recognize my chairman, Governor Chavarria, who gave the invocation the other morning. So Governor Chavarria is my chairman of the Northern Indian Peoples Council. So with that said, actually Dan Lorenz talked about the Burking case, so he did my job for me, so thank you for being here. But he did a great job, and so I'm not going to go into on the Burking case discussion, but I do want to say that I think it was last Monday, we were celebrating Columbus Day. Got no reaction. We were celebrating Indigenous Day. And it was in Santa Fe. So we had governors, tribal leaders, and the mayor of Santa Fe joined us to a luncheon. And Senator Udall also came to the luncheon. And one of the questions to Senator Udall was, what's Congress doing about the threats on sovereignty? And he used the Burking case as an example. He said, this is what we need to do when our sovereignty is threatened, to come together. And as Dan reported, all the organizations that came together and submitted amicus brief, I think that was what helped the case to be in our favor. So we need to do that more with all the other issues that we have with any country. And we have people like Senator Udall and our congressional people from New Mexico that are helping in this endeavor. So we need to utilize their resources and their support. So even though the Burking case was in our favor, there's still a threat unequal. So we're still going to be vigilant, and I was going to say be vigilant, and work on addressing that issues. One of the things that also happened we want to talk about is what's happening in the country with Indian child welfare. I'm not sure if you heard of an individual that his name is, I'll say his name, he's from out of Arizona, adoption attorney from out of Arizona, Paul Peterson, who has been charged with several felony crimes, including human trafficking related to unlawful adoption schemes he has been conducting for years. During the investigation, it was discovered that at least one equal case was included. We have seen fraudulent practices in adoptions involving American Indian and Alaska Native children for many years. So we are working with the journalists involved to provide information about our experiences. So we're putting out our word out there to do some of these things. Some of the themes we've seen in private adoption involving Indian children include dissuading birth parents from disclosure of their tribal heritage, making a determination about whether a child is a member or eligible for membership in the federally recognized tribe without involving the child's tribe, taking consent from birth mothers to relinquish their children that are involved of equal requirements and ongoing Native fathers' rights, not checking to see if there are relatives or other Native families that could take the child in violation of equal placement preferences, making false statement, false determination that equal doesn't apply to avoid applying the law and providing the child an opportunity to intervene in the court proceedings. Picking up Indian children in one state and then quickly placing them in a non-Indian families in another state, where adoption laws are more permissive, hoping to avoid scrutiny closer to the child's home and making it harder for the child's tribe or birth father to be intervened. So these are some of the things that are happening today. Because adoption is highly unregulated in the United States, we continue to see adoption attorneys and agencies take advantage of vulnerable children and families in their effort to secure children from the prospective adopted clients. So if you see or hear any of these kind of things going on in your state, please let us know so we can address those issues. We are committed to helping ensure tribes have all the federal grant resources they need to address child welfare issues. Currently, there are 2 federal government grants programs specifically for tribes that have never seen any funding appropriated since 1991. These grant programs under the Indian Child Protection and Family Violence Prevention Act, and they are authorized $40 million. These grant programs are supposed to provide funding to prevent child abuse and neglect victims and treat the child victims. One of the barriers to this appropriation of the grant funds have been that the law has not been reauthorized for 10 years. So we need to get on with NCAI's help to make sure that that's reauthorized. NICWA and NCAI has recently been working on with the House Natural Resource Committee members to pursue reauthorization of the Indian Child Protection and Family Violence Prevention Act. House members are working on the hearing for November and are intending on introducing the reauthorization bill that will increase the reauthorization of both grant programs. NICWA and NCI will be working with tribes and other tribal advocates to get witnesses for the House hearing and gather support for passage of the House bill. Finally, NICWA is committed to helping tribal leadership develop the most effective child welfare governance in our communities as possible. We have developed highly quality training and technical assistance for tribal leadership on a variety of topics, including enhancing tribal governments in child welfare, assessment of tribal welfare systems, improving tribal welfare agencies and court collaborations, and creating effective strategies for equal advocacy. Our equal philosophy and practices are culturally based and identify strength and how to build on those in the work with you while ensuring that we are inclusive of all community stakeholders in this process. In New Mexico, we have been working to create equal courts. And I think that's something I would recommend that maybe each of the states would do also. Equal courts, and then we're also pursuing to pass legislation on Indian child welfare. That gives us, I think, more protection for the states to do that. At our subcommittee, Indian Child Welfare Subcommittee, we passed some resolutions to address also, and we passed a resolution out of IT&I to have your governors also support Indian child welfare, or even the U.S. attorneys or state attorneys, because I think that's where the strength comes from, when we involve them in our efforts, and a good example is the Birkin case. So with that, I stand for approval of my report. Chairman?
Thank you, Gil. Questions first?
Representative of the San River Sea Tribe. You know, this is a major problem for us.